Football, Nassau Lions basketball. The Lions battle Passaic County Community College in their home opener this Saturday. Tip-off is at noon for the women and 2 for the men here on the home of Nassau Lions sports.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
Timothy, how you doing? You know what day today is? You know what day?
I do not. Why don't you introduce yourself?
On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. Deep down, he knew she was right, but he also knew that someday he would return to her. With nowhere else to go, he appeared at the home of his childhood friend, Oscar Madison. Sometime earlier, Madison's wife had thrown him out, requesting that he never return. Can two divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?
The answer is no.
No, the answer is yes. They figured it out. Yeah.
They drove each other crazy every week.
Yeah, but they were.
That was the point of the show.
Remember the episode where?
Yes.
I know you do because we watch them all the time. But you remember the one where Oscar was getting tips from the track from Jerry Marin? Remember he wrote an article about him and he decided to give him tips.
Yes.
And they became really rich and they would go. You know,
yes.
the guy who's famous for that, I forgot his name.
I don't know.
He was like the maitre d' or whatever. And then
he's been dead for 40 years.
Yeah, I know. And then the thing was, the last time in the show, he goes, well, I'm going down to South America. I'm going to be a jockey down there. And he goes, by the way, and he gives him a tip, but he didn't say it was a guarantee. And Oscar gets really like, whoa, I don't know, because he's been down this road, and Felix is like going crazy. And remember the last line?
Felix has a fever. Save $5 for socks.
Yeah, $5 for socks, and they lost by a nose.
A Murray Chrysler nose.
Oh, well, everyone talks about the password episode. That's one of my favorites, too.
That was one of the best ones.
Oh, God, because they worked with each other. At the same time, they were, they switched roles. That one and the one where they did switch roles. Remember they went to the shrink.
Yes. They had to be each other.
Yeah.
Or how they saw each other.
Yes. Myrna was eating her hair. And oh, anyway, welcome to another edition of From the Pressbox here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The show becomes a podcast later on. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me is my brother and award-winning sportscaster, Tim Leonard.
Sports what?
Sportscaster. You're now a sportscaster. We actually haven't won an award yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're hoping.
Not yet.
We'll say award-winning sports writer. That we know.
Yes.
And, we should have written that book. For those who don't know.
After we get the award, brother, I will be an award-winning sports multimedia icon.
Yeah, okay. We should have wrote that book. Tim, people don't know this, but back when The Odd Couple aired 3 or 4 times a day in New York.
The Odd Couple was Friends back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
It was on that much.
And during the summer, I think it was 78 or 79, it was Timmy, me, and our friend Kenny wrote out, we're going to do an Odd Couple trivia book. And there was about 200 questions. And then we,
would have been good.
School started, and we said, "Oh, okay." we never finished.
We would have made money.
I still have that book somewhere.
I'm sure you do, brother.
I'm sure
you save everything.
I try, brother. Anyway, I don't even know where to start, brother. You know what I want to do, brother?
Do whatever you want.
Let's start off with a good thing. As much as I hate the name Gotham FC, it's almost as bad as NYCFC. The ladies won. For those who don't know, Gotham FC is the National Women's Soccer League. They won the championship for the
Saturday night.
On Saturday night in San Diego over OL Reign. I don't even know what the hell that means.
It's Orlando, brother. Or actually, no, it's not Orlando. It's
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be Orlando, but Rapinoe's on the team, so it's got to be somewhere in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, so
I don't even know.
Yeah, more stupid names for soccer teams.
Yes, brother. God.
Well, hey,
they can't do anything to satisfy you.
No, because we grew up with this Cosmos. At first it was the New York Cosmos, then they became international. They became the Cosmos, And it was still the Cosmos. They didn't call themselves FC, you know?
And?
I'm just saying. You know,
cares?
the FC is a stupid name. You know,
Tell Liverpool.
Gotham.
Tell your Liverpool that, brother.
That's different.
Liverpool FC.
It's different. I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because if you
Can't
live
wait to
in
hear this.
Liverpool, you're a Liverpool fan.
So?
Do you see any any Tottenham fans who live near the stadium? Are they Arsenal fans?
Of course not. They're smart.
Well, it's just the same thing.
But Arsenal, I don't know what point you're making, because Arsenal and Tottenham are separated by about 4 miles.
Right.
So I'm not sure what your point is.
I have no point.
Anyway, thank you for at least admitting that.
I want team names. You know, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. You know, the Jets are the Jets.
That's an American thing.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Liverpool is Liverpool.
Right.
So, again, you're not really making a point here.
Yes, I am.
Soccer is different.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is, brother. Be on mic, brother. Be on mic.
I'm just calling something up. It should be, America, USA.
America FC. That's actually a Mexican team, brother.
Really? Okay.
Yes, believe it or not.
No, I don't believe it. Anyway, Gotham FC won the championship 2-1.
Led by Ali Krieger, brother. Ali Krieger.
Where do they play, by the way?
They play at Red Bull Arena.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
So when the Red Bulls build their new stadium near...
They're not building a new stadium. Why would they build a new stadium? The one that they have is like 15 years old.
Well, who's getting the one near City Field?
That's NYCFC is getting that field.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't you rather be in New York City than in Jersey?
I don't know. Again, I don't understand your point.
Well, your stadium, don't call yourself the New York Red Bulls when you're that deep into Jersey.
Right now, they really just call themselves Red Bulls.
Yeah, well, that's the
they
problem.
don't really go with the whole New York, New Jersey
And
thing
same
like
with
the
Gotham.
Metro Stars did.
Well, Gotham is the same thing. It's Gotham. What's this, Batman?
Well, it's a way of saying New York. And actually, I think they go by New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC.
That makes sense.
Because they do play in New Jersey. But
Yes.
And they used to be Sky Blue, which turned into one of the worst franchises. I'm surprised that they actually made it through the season and were able to salvage that franchise, because it was a disaster, financial disaster.
Well, that happens.
Like the New York Kick from the old NPSL.
Oh, wow.
Going way back.
That's a dangerous team.
Which was that was as much as I liked the owners of those of that team, because I covered that team. They were well-intentioned people and they were nice people, but possibly the worst managed franchise in sports history. Because they didn't have enough money.
Yes.
They were supposed to have 100 owners at $10,000 apiece, and instead they got 41 people to put in money, and they said, "All right, we're going to do it anyway."
Well,
How do you do that? How do you do that with a $600,000 deficit to start? You're starting in a hole.
Right. So anyway, this is a first championship in New York in a while, or in the area. I give Channel 4. I've got the guy's name, but on Saturday night they actually showed some clips, and
as they should have
mentioned.
It was right after the game. The game ended at about 11 o'clock. It was late.
Really?
Because they played out in San Diego. The game was on.
That's right,
The game was on CBS.
National?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. It wasn't like the cable.
No. Real Channel 2 network television.
That's good. That's a very good thing, actually.
So they played. I'll give you a little highlight, brother. Well, first of all, the disappointing part of the match was that Reign veteran and U.S. national team staple Megan Rapinoe was playing in what was supposed to be her final game. In fact, it still is her final game, except she got hurt in the 4th minute. And the thinking is, and she said it herself, she thinks she tore her Achilles tendon.
And how was she able to walk it?
Well, I think she had the Aaron Rodgers tear, which is like a partial tear. But she went down. There was nobody near her. She went down like she got shot, and then at halftime was walking around on crutches. After the game, she was walking around without the crutches. So, if it was a full tear, then you can't walk with a fully torn Achilles.
Not at all.
You can't, because your foot just hangs there. There's nothing to hold your foot. So it had to be a partial tear, but she's obviously in pain. So it was supposed to be Rapinoe's last match and Ali Krieger's last match, two longtime members of the U.S. national team. So Rapinoe goes down. She has to be replaced on the field. And it turns out that Ali Krieger winds up winning the title. So good for Allie. We're happy for her.
Good for her.
In her last
Good.
match.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Midge Purse, brother, was named the MVP of the game.
Okay.
She had assists on both Gotham FC goals. And, actually, after Rapinoe went off, Purse was able to really, go at it down that sideline. That was Rapinoe's sideline that she would have been defending. Although I didn't think she defended very well at the World Cup, so I don't know. But Purse went on a 40-yard run down the line and then found Lynn Williams with a cross for the opening goal. And then in stoppage time in the first half, sent a corner kick in to the head of forward Esther Gonzalez for the header that made it 2-1, and that's how the game ended.
Now, did they play that 2-game thing where?
No, this was a final.
So just a 1 game and that's it. It's not like
that's how a lot of playoffs or whatever. Like MLS is playing. I think they're playing 2 out of 3, but the final will be 1 game. It's like it's a Super Bowl. It's not 2 or best of 3 or anything like that. It's you're playing 1 game, neutral site. Whoever wins is the champion.
Okay, good for them.
So.
Okay, good for Gotham. It was nice to see an actual New York area team win.
I will tell you this, brother. I'm going to cut you off here because I know you're trying to wrap this up.
I'm not.
Gotham FC came very close to blowing this game, and the reason was because the goalkeeper Mandy Haught was red carded.
Wow.
With literally like 45 seconds left in the game. She came out to the top of the box because the ball came through, and instead of like going out, running out, and trying to head it away like a smart person would or a smart goalie would, she stood at the edge of the box like a wide receiver trying to keep his toes inside the line.
Yeah.
But she punched the ball. Well, her hands are outside the box. That means it doesn't matter where your feet are. It matters where you contact the ball. So she went to hit it away, and she's outside the box. They did the VAR, the video check, and yeah, she's outside the box. Here comes the ref. Red card. Well, you know what? Gotham FC has already used all of their subs. You know what that means?
No.
Hey, field player, come put on the goalie gloves.
Yeah, well.
So now the Reign have a free kick at the top of the box, which is a very dangerous place to have a free kick, and a goalie. This was midfielder Neely Martin put on the gloves. She apparently hadn't played anywhere near the goal since she was in college. And the only good thing for Gotham was that because everybody was so confused as to what was going on. I told my Twitter friend, Soph, big women's sports fan, I told her, I said, look, I don't think they can put a substitute in. Because I remembered when Harry Kane had to play goal for Tottenham one time at the end of a match. You can't sub out. If the goalie gets red carded like that, you have to put a field player in. You cannot sub. So the only good thing about it was everybody was so confused that Haught was able to line up Martin. They lined up the wall because the ball was going to stay where the ball was for the free kick. So the real goalie lined up the wall and said, all right, stand right here. Your wall is there. And it was like, all right, this is all you have to do. Just don't whiff on the save. And then the wall blocked the free kick. They kicked the ball out. Like 40 seconds later, game over.
Again, another thing that the Rob Leonard,
here we go.
The Rob Leonard soccer world would have in America is unlimited substitutions and unlimited whatever. Because that's kind of silly to maybe lose your game because your goalie can't be replaced by another goalie.
Yeah, here it is. This is from ESPN. Martin's only goalkeeping experience before this year's emergency relief efforts came in her final semester at college when Alabama had only 1 goalkeeper for the spring and needed a stand-in for practice. So it's just practice, not a real game.
Right.
Martin's quote was, I think they just know I'll throw my body at whatever. I'm a little crazy. I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, that's what you need for a goalie. Perfect goalie.
Yes. Okay. Well, like I said, the Rob Leonard soccer world.
Oh, here we go again.
In America, USA would change all of that, brother.
Well,
that's all.
I hope there's several New Yorkers who can get over the NFL issues and celebrate a title, celebrate a championship.
I agree. Like
so.
I said, it was great that it was on CBS television network.
Yeah.
It was great that they showed it on Channel 4 News right before SNL.
And it was great. It's great that it was in San Diego. Dads for everybody after the game.
I'm sure that's what they did, brother.
I hope so.
Anyway, brother, let's talk about the Giants and Jets first, because both of them are just disgusting.
Both of them horrific.
Horrific. I'll go with the Jets because that was closer to,
Whatever you want, brother. You don't have to justify it. Just pick one. Let's go.
Okay, the Jets. Let's talk. There was one touchdown for the Raiders. The rest were all field goals. There was a
final score was 16-12 for the Las Vegas team.
Yes, the
I almost
Raiders.
said the Oakland team. I almost said the Oakland. I almost said the Los
That's
Angeles.
okay. It's okay to say it. Anyway, there was they had a stat on with Collinsworth and Tirico. The Jets 47% of their points is from field goals.
Yep.
That is a horrible thing. Mm-hmm. And it just shows what's going on. When they were down and they were down 16-9, and they took a field goal to make it 16-12. They should have went for the touchdown or at least go for a first down, and they didn't because they don't trust Zach Wilson.
Double check the box on that, brother. I'm not sure that you're correct on that.
I think
double
I am.
check. Double check it.
I am.
Make sure.
I am.
I don't remember it being 16-9, but maybe
It was.
Maybe
It was 16-9.
But
because it became 16-12, and I remember saying to myself, they still have to get another touchdown.
Right.
So if they went for the touchdown, you still got to go for you still have to keep moving.
Well, here's the problem, brother. And the problems are numerous for the Jets because
my God.
Let's face it, this should have been a win. When we talked about the Jets before the season, one of the games that we said on the schedule, and there weren't many of them.
Nope.
But there weren't many W's on the schedule. This was one of the W's. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Jets blew this game. If you look at what happened, Zach Wilson, and I got to put the hit on Zach Wilson because he's running up the sideline, and he stepped out of bounds literally by about a half an inch before he made the dive for the pylon.
Yep, I saw that.
And it would have been a touchdown. Play was reviewed. No, he stepped out of bounds. And then what do the Jets do whenever the Jets are in the red zone? They screwed themselves.
Very badly.
It's happening over and over and over again this season. The Jets, they commit a penalty or they can't run the ball effectively in the red zone. They are last in touchdowns in the red zone in the NFL. So the fact that Zach Wilson was so close to scoring a touchdown, and then the Jets again had to settle for a field goal. There's 4 points.
Yep.
What? How many points did the Jets lose by, brother?
4.
There you go. There's your game.
Yep.
So for that to happen, and then Zach Wilson again, and anybody who listens to the show on a regular basis knows I have not been killing Zach Wilson this year.
No, you haven't.
I think I've been. I think I've been very kind to Zach Wilson this season.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that he is really in a bad situation, but at the same time, he hasn't taken the situation and cleaned it up and make it something better for him to prove he has something to offer, and he doesn't. He's gone next year.
No. He's still right. He's still got another year left on his rookie deal. Next year will be his 4th year. But that's what the Giants did with Daniel Jones. If the Jets can somehow salvage Zach Wilson, you can't just throw away a 2nd overall pick in the draft.
Well, you can now, brother, because he's had his chance. He doesn't. I know the offensive line has been horrible,
injured.
We know the Jets' defense has been good,
outstanding.
But you know what? They did a thing last night. He's throwing faster. He threw faster in this game than the last.
Speedier.
Whatever.
He's making faster decisions and getting rid of the ball faster.
Right. So, but
that was good.
But at the same time, he's not getting touchdowns.
Well, that part is bad. But that's not all on him. You can't put all of it on the quarterback. That's my point.
I think you can.
You can't. But what I will say, that rush, you got to keep your foot in bounds. I mean, I know you're trying to sneak up the sideline, but either hit somebody or make sure where your feet are.
You know what he did? It looked like he made that decision. It looked like he was going to run out of bounds.
Yeah, it did.
And then he decided, let me look how close I am, and then he didn't think.
Right. He was still about 8 yards away.
Yes.
But he said, I think I can get there.
Right.
But you literally just a little tiny bit of the outside of his cleat was on the white.
Yep.
You can't allow that to happen.
Nope. He was too close to allow it. And then they didn't do anything.
And then in the fourth quarter, he throws another interception.
Yep.
Zach Wilson, I'm pretty sure, if I saw this stat correctly, and I only saw it for half a second, but I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson leads the NFL in interceptions in the fourth quarter.
Yes, he does.
That is a really damning stat. I mean, that is a stat. Nobody wants to be that guy. Because instead of leading the team to victory, if you're throwing interceptions in the fourth quarter, you're not leading your team to victory. Now, the Jets have just come off a 3-game winning streak. They've lost 2 in a row now. And, I mean, you look at this. The Jets have scored 31 points in the last 3 weeks. 1 touchdown. The rest of it is field goals. It's ridiculous.
Right.
You can't win games like that.
No, you can't.
So, I mean, and they said last night that Aaron Rodgers claims he's going to be back in December.
No, I mean, I know he said that. But
I think it's a load of crap. But
I think
that's what he said.
I know he said that, but my thing is, why at this point? What happens if he hurts his foot again?
I think if and when he comes back, it will be dependent on, do the Jets have a chance to make the playoffs? Because if they do, then there's a reason to come back.
Okay,
if
I'll
they're
go with
already
that.
eliminated,
there's no reason.
There's no reason.
No, let him.
That was like, why was Dak Prescott playing in the fourth quarter against the Giants yesterday? Could have stopped after halftime.
God, that's a whole other thing.
But it's going to be dependent on, for the Jets, do they have a chance? And
yes.
If they do, and Aaron Rodgers proves that he can play and he's not going to hurt himself and there's no risk to it, then yes, he will play.
Right.
But I'll still be shocked beyond belief. Unless obviously there's something that the Jets didn't report about this injury. Because there's no way if the Achilles was torn, it was fully torn, which we knew it wasn't fully torn because he actually walked off the field to the cart. But I've never heard of anybody coming back this quickly from an Achilles.
No, he's
ever in my life, and I've written about a lot of them.
Yeah. So, Zach Wilson. Obviously they didn't read Steve Serby's column in the Post yesterday. I know you hate Serby.
He's awful.
But it was the annual Let's Call Joe Namath article. And Joe is.
Oh, that's why I saw that. All right.
Yeah.
I saw that in an email. I don't even remember what the email was from. It said Joe Namath had this to say about Zach Wilson. It sounded harsh.
Well, he didn't actually knock Zach as much. He was talking about, there are certain things with Joe Namath. I love Joe Namath, but there's certain things in these type of articles that he mentions. He always mentions the Oakland Raiders, and that's why they did the articles, because the Jets are playing the Raiders. He mentions Ben Davidson.
Of course.
He mentions Weeb Eubank, and he mentions Paul Bryant.
Right. So
he mentioned all 4. So
of course.
He said that when we started at Alabama, Paul Bryant sat us down and said, "Don't make mistakes. And you might think you're all smart, but don't make." And he's right that the Jets are this mistake-prone team. How many times are we getting holdings and stuff that shouldn't have happened? Also, it's something in the article which I didn't know. You think Joe Namath every year stops by. He's never met Coach Saleh. Which I was really
That's surprising.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
I don't think he stops by every year. I mean, Joe Namath lives in Florida.
Yeah,
so
but
he's got to make a trip to come up to New York.
Yeah, but he has business. He does that.
Not really.
Yeah, he's still Joe. He still owns New York 50 years later.
I think you overestimate that.
No.
He's an 80-year-old man.
If Joe Namath walked in this room right now, you'd be excited.
I'd be thrilled.
I would too.
I'd say, "Hey, Joe, how you doing? Say the word play for me. Play.
I would say, did you really get Ann Margaret?
Of course he did. He got everybody.
I don't know, because Ann Margaret was married at the time.
Who cares?
But
it was a swinging 70s back then. Come on.
Casey and Company, or CC and Company. Great movie. Anyway, there was a nice article. I know you're not a Serby guy, but it was a nice article. But the Jets just look horrible. You can't get all these things and these penalties and not score. I'm sorry.
I don't understand. And you know what? I got to start at some point wondering how much of this is on Hackett. The guy we were all defending from Sean Payton earlier in the season. But this offense doesn't show any kind of creativity.
No, not at all.
And it certainly doesn't allow Zach Wilson to use some of his better talents one of which is scrambling, another of which is improvising. It doesn't allow him to do that. It's short passes, pass here, pass here, pass here. It's
a West Coast offense on the East Coast.
But it's not a West Coast offense. It really isn't.
Well, all these short passes.
The Jets have gotten away from what we said earlier in the season, what they should be doing, and that is give the ball to Breece Hall, get the ball as often as possible to Garrett Wilson, and that's your offense. And the tight end Conklin, who's actually decent, get him the ball too. But I don't know what else they're trying to do, and it's all gotten very predictable. It's run on first down, run on second down, pass on third. You have to mix it up more.
There's nothing exciting about the New York Jets.
And they're not letting Zach Wilson throw the ball deep. Or if they do, it's incredibly rare that it happens.
It only happens when they have to.
But that's my point. Mix it up. Zach Wilson's got a hell of an arm. You got to let him. You got to let him show it off every once in a while.
The last pass he threw was a great throw. He's running the wrong way, and then he threw a really great pass. And
at the combine when he came out in the draft, brother, he threw the ball. He was scrambling. He threw the ball something like 70 yards.
Yeah,
he's got a cannon for an arm.
Then
How often is he allowed to show it off? Pretty much never.
If the Jets had won, they'd be tied right now with Buffalo. 5-4. They're 4-5 right now.
Again, you're putting too much stock in that.
I know that, but the Bills were supposed to be. Oh yeah, we're gonna be the team. Not right now. The Bills are.
It doesn't matter.
I'm just saying.
The Bills don't matter because the Bills aren't going to win the Super Bowl.
No, they're not, but they might make the playoffs.
And the Dolphins won't either. I got news for you. The Dolphins have beaten bad teams, and every decent team on their schedule they've lost to. So use that for your gambling in the next few weeks, people.
Oh.
Dolphins against a bad team, bet them. If they're playing a good team, bet against them. You're welcome.
Thank you, brother. They're playing. Who are they playing next week? They're playing the Raiders. Bet
the Dolphins. Bet them. I'm telling you.
And then they're playing the Jets.
Bet them. Bet the Dolphins hard.
That's on Thanksgiving week or something.
Make it happen. I think I might have just bought somebody a house with those two bets.
That's Friday. That's that Friday 3:00 game after Thanksgiving.
There you go.
The Jets
I don't
Dolphins.
Care. Whatever it is,
that's a weird game.
Bet them. Bet the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Go with Tua.
Yeah.
Buy a house. But so here we are with the Jets. Though after they won the 3 in a row, we were all excited, happy, ready to celebrate. And now a loss to the Chargers, which is pretty much expected, but this loss to the Raiders. This was a bad one. This one hurt.
Right.
And Antonio Pierce, congratulations to him, former Giant, down 2-0 with the Raiders. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something right.
Well, he's 2-0.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought you said down 2-0.
No, he's now 2-0.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you said down.
No. So, 2 games, 2 wins. You can't ask for much more from a coach.
No. Well, the Raiders are 5-5.
They're not good. They got their quarterback is terrible. This O'Connell, whatever his name is. I don't even know what his first name is.
I wonder, and I have not seen any stories. I wonder if the Raiders fans are from Oakland and they drive a 6-hour trip.
Some do.
I'm sure they do, but I'm wondering.
Because a lot of them are crazy enough to do that.
Yeah, I know. Because
some moved to Las Vegas.
Well, that's
crazy people.
That's crazy.
But there was a handful of them that did.
Not me. I just, as much as the Raiders, I don't know. Well, Vegas, to me, is the wrong place for them. But they're going to be there for a long time. So
well, we said they were going to be in Los Angeles for a long time and Oakland for a long time. So
yeah, that's true.
Let's not commit any. Let's not make any prognostications as far as where the Raiders will play.
Anyway, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to 90.3 WHPC from Pressbox.
Before you go, brother,
what?
I want to throw this out at you, and maybe we can take some phone calls after the break. If you're the Jets and you're going to Vegas for a Sunday night game,
let's save this. I know where you're going with. Let's save
I know,
this.
but I want people to think about it.
No, I want.
All right.
We'll play when we get back.
All right.
Anyway, this is 90.3 WHPC from the Press Box. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. We'll be back in a minute.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by the Enza Brandy Law Firm, a full-service law firm that works with litigation, personal injury, real estate, trusts, and estates. The Enza Brandy Law Firm is now located at 310 West Hills Road in Huntington Station. If you're looking to buy or sell your home or seek compensation for injuries, you may get more information about the Enza Brandy Law Firm at 631-757-7471 or online at enzabrandylaw.com. That's ENZABRANDI law.com.
Would you welcome Frank Sinatra?
Hi, I'm Glenn DeMille. Join me for 2 swinging hours of music and memories with Old Blue Eyes on Sinatra Serenade, Saturday nights at 6 on 90.3 WHPC.
I think it's about time, don't you?
I'm Big Ed. Join me Mondays 10 till noon for the Good Gold Show and the greatest hits of all time. Lots of fun and music information, too, on WHPC and on the WHPC app.
On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. Deep down, he knew she was right, but he also knew that someday he would return to her. With nowhere else to go, he appeared at the home of his childhood friend, Oscar Madison. Sometime earlier, Madison's wife had thrown him out, requesting that he never return. Can 2 divorced men share an apartment without driving each other crazy?
Can 2 brothers host a radio show without driving each other crazy?
Not today.
Why not, brother? You're such a jerk sometimes. You know? Jeez. It's one of the most famous opens of all time. You know? Bow! You know? One of the best shows ever. It's about a sports writer. How many shows have been about sports writers? You're a sports writer.
Not enough.
Right. You know?
We're all incredibly witty and intelligent people.
Yeah. You know, but do you, how many other sports writers have been written about? None. So, and I'm doing it for my brother, and, he's being... So, anyway, brother, I got to
waste more time.
I will, brother. I got to read this. Save the date. This coming Wednesday, November 15th, which is this Wednesday, is WHPC Day at PDQ, People Dedicated to Quality, a chicken restaurant. PDQ of Westbury and Farmingdale are hosting a day to support WHPC. PDQ is located at 1236 Old Country Road in Westbury and 1004 Route 110 in Farmingdale. This coming Wednesday, November 15th, is WHPC Day. Thanks for supporting the non-commercial educational radio at the Voice of Nassau Community College. Now, for those who don't know what this is, when you go to the front and you make your order, you say, I'm here for WHPC. You have to tell them that. That's part of the deal. So, just say here, I want the money to go to WHPC. Something like that. So please do, and you'll be very happy. Anyway, brother, what are we talking about? Oh, you're going to talk about the Vegas thing.
Yes, brother. Here's my... I'm going to throw this out to you at home.
What about me?
You too, brother. You can weigh in on this.
Thank you.
All right. Let's say you are the GM or the president of the New York Football Jets, and you're going to Las Vegas for a Sunday night game.
Right.
How do you handle the itinerary? Because the players are going to want to go crazy. It's the weekend. It's Vegas. Do you arrive Saturday afternoon and tell the boys, all right, go out, have fun, but don't get drunk or make yourself a mess for the game? No hangovers, no stupid stuff, no staying out until 6 o'clock in the morning. Be responsible.
No prostitutes.
And even at 6 o'clock in the morning, you could still sleep all day and be ready for the game at 8 o'clock.
Right.
But yes, brother, no prostitutes. That should go without saying after the Super Bowl a few years ago. Or do you get there late on Saturday after a practice at home, practicing is Saturday morning, afternoon, whatever, get on a plane, fly to Vegas, then tell the fellas, hey, we're here for a work trip. Nobody's going out. Don't be stupid, but we'll get, we can go out after the game. After we're done, after we get the win.
I already have the answer.
Which they don't. Or there's a third choice, brother. Do you arrive late on Saturday, keep everybody in their rooms until it's time to come to the game, and then have the team plane waiting to leave right after the game.
No.
So no fun. No casinos, no
No.
partying, no anything. What is your call, brother?
Well, I have a fourth one. The fourth one is you arrive Friday. You tell the guys, enjoy Friday night.
Already wrong.
Then Saturday, you say, okay, guys, we're going to do a very small practice, and then you're ready for Sunday night. Now, what you say also is, if you guys win, here's a $500 stipend, and go down to the W or wherever, or the MGM Grand, and say, okay, here's your $500. Only if you win. If you don't win, we hop on the jet as soon as it's over.
I'm not sure that would be legal from NFL standpoint.
Really?
I don't think you can give an unauthorized win bonus.
Really?
I'm fairly certain that is the case.
Wow. Okay. Well, then you know what you do is you rent out a room at the W. You rent out the hall. Said, okay, we won.
Well,
I don't know. That's a very good question, brother. I personally think
because Vegas is a pitfall. It's a place where you go
to lose money.
Everybody wants to party when they get to Vegas. It's the party city in the United States.
Sad.
You go there to gamble. You go there to have fun. You go there to let loose.
To lose money.
And to sit there and say, all right, well, we're here, but we can't drink. We can't carouse. We can't go out. I mean, Vegas is a place where you can very easily lose track of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything is lit up. Night doesn't really exist. But then when the sun comes up, all of a sudden it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like, wow, where'd the night go? So that's what I was wondering. And if anybody wants to give us a call and weigh in on that, I would love to hear some opinions.
516-572-7440.
What he said. Because I was curious when I was putting the show notes together last night. I was just wondering. It was like, all right, like somebody like Zach Wilson, young single guy, good looking, likes older women apparently, allegedly.
How much older is his girlfriend?
I was talking about the friend of his mother that he allegedly was with. But the point being that plenty of those types in Vegas, hanging around doing whatever. So I'm wondering. I mean, personally, if it's me, I'm taking a team there. I am not letting them go out Saturday afternoon. I'm getting them there late on Saturday after the practice, and I'm telling the guys, look, sacrifice Saturday night. We got a game on Sunday. Don't be stupid, and we'll stay here Sunday night, and you guys can party as much as you want because Monday we're off anyway. And we'll fly home Monday, and have at it.
Well, maybe
just don't get yourself arrested or do anything really that stupid.
Maybe they should go to church also, brother.
No,
is there a church in there? That's the question.
Well, there's Elvis Chapel. Yeah,
I'm not sure that's a church. So anyway,
you haven't seen the Elvis fans, brother.
I've seen them. I know 'em.
So that would be my strategy. Is to dangle the carrot and tell them after the game. But we got to handle business first.
Well, they didn't
because it's a work trip.
So what do they do? What did the Jets do? What did Robert Johnson do?
I don't know. I was just asking. I'm putting the question out there. I have no idea what they did or how they did it. I don't know if the Jets stayed in Vegas last night and partied up a little bit because it's also a little bit of a team bonding thing.
Yeah, it is. And also, the other thing it might be, brother, is that the weekends are more expensive. So maybe they stay in on Monday just to. Save money on the. They have their own jet. Right?
They have their own jet, brother. NFL teams don't care about the cost of a flight.
They should.
Well, but the whole point being that you don't want your team out in the casinos the night before a game,
right? Because
you want them to be focusing. You want them to be resting. You don't want them on their feet. You want them to be conserving their energy and being out until 4 o'clock in the morning, even though you're playing the Sunday night game, which throws off the sleep schedule a little bit. But you don't want guys. You don't want guys.
Good point.
Wake up at a normal time, get breakfast or lunch, take a nap before the game, and then head to the stadium at like 4 or 5 o'clock for an 8 o'clock game.
They still have the big buffets there?
I'm sure they do.
I wonder if you're a player, you go there and
tear it up.
Tear it up. Get the offensive line guys going.
Oh, they would love that.
Hey, I need 5 steaks here.
They would love the unlimited food.
Anyway, bro, let's talk about the Giants. Oh, my God.
I'd rather not.
It was 49-17. Tommy DeVito.
Poor Tommy DeVito.
You know, I feel bad for this kid.
I don't necessarily feel bad for him because he's not very good. Let's face facts.
Well, you know, if you were being thrown into a Lions or a Cowboys den, you might say, "Oh my God!" But you know, how much did they let him do anything? Probably nothing. You know,
he wasn't allowed to do a whole lot. But what third string quarterback would be allowed? He's not going to come in. He's not Brock Purdy. And I said that when he played a couple weeks ago. He's not Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy's not walking through that door anytime soon.
You know what I would do from him? We know Daniel Jones isn't coming back, and their backup isn't there. So do what the hell you want. If you think you have the talent and the skill, what the hell? Especially if you're losing.
I don't think he thinks that though.
Well,
he's a local kid. All right, went to Don Bosco Prep, which has been a football power in the past.
Right.
From Cedar Grove, New Jersey, which is not Bergen County. It's not that close. Somebody said it was a 15-minute drive from MetLife Stadium. I find it very hard to believe. It wasn't Tarico. I don't know who it was.
Oh, no, Tarico said Rutgers was 15.
Rutgers was 15 minutes. There was somebody else who said it, and I was like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, yeah, that's not true. 15 minutes? Especially in Jersey traffic? Forget it.
Yeah.
It's probably more like 45 minutes, but it's not very far. You know, it's fairly close.
Right.
And I'm fairly certain, I don't know it for a fact because I didn't research it, but I'm fairly certain that the kid played in Giant Stadium during his high school career.
Yeah, won the championship.
Right,
yeah.
because the Jersey State championships some of the games are played at Giant Stadium, not all of them, because there's too many games. So this kid, you know, what's he going to do? He gets to start because he's the third string guy. They signed Matt Barkley during the week to be his backup. Okay, you know, but what's Matt Barkley going to do? Nobody. There's no savior. There's no savior coming in for the Giants at this point.
Right.
You know, it's not there. So Kevin Burkhardt, brother, made what I thought was a very sagacious point during the game. I was very impressed with Kevin Burkhardt's work yesterday.
He was the announcer. The
announcer, yes. That people should know Kevin Burkhardt is by now.
Used to be the Mets guy.
He said that the rest of the season for the Giants should be about evaluation. And he's 100% correct.
Well,
the Giants are now 2-8. All right? They're not going anywhere.
Well, they're going to be 2-15 by the time of the season?
Probably. There's a real good chance of that happening. Because Dan Jones isn't coming back. Tyrod Taylor will come back at some point. He's got a couple more weeks on being injured. But, you know, I don't know how much of a difference he's going to make. No. I mean, he's certainly a better quarterback than Tommy DeVito. But this is like shades of Jake Fromm all over again. A couple of years ago when Jake Fromm came in because all the quarterbacks got hurt and, you know, it was a disaster. Jake Fromm played, you know, led Georgia to a national championship game and then was horrible for the Giants.
Yeah, well.
I mean, he couldn't have been worse. So now we're in a situation where the Giants need to figure out not just next year. They need to figure out 2-3 years from now. Because I got news for you. The Giants are going to be bad next year. It's not going to get fixed in one season or one off season. The Giants need to be thinking about which quarterback they're going to draft because more than likely they're going to have one of the top 3 picks in the draft.
Wow.
All right. Is it Bo Nix or is it Caleb Williams? And right now I'm thinking I'm going with Bo Nix. I kind of like him a little bit better than Caleb Williams. Plus, Caleb Williams says he wants partial ownership of whatever team drafts him. He's insane.
Yeah, he's not Joe DiMaggio.
So that was the one thing that stood out to me. Daniel Jones is gone. Not in this offseason, but after next season.
Right.
He'll probably come back at some point next year. If the Giants draft a quarterback like I expect them to, you know, is it maybe a little awkward after Jones is healthy enough to play again after his torn ACL is healed? Yeah, I mean, maybe you do play him a little bit. But I certainly don't play him with the intention of, well, if he does well, we're going to keep him around. No. His time is done.
I said that last year, brother, and you said, well, they should sign him.
You had to sign him. They had to take the chance. They had to make the move. He had a good season. He showed improvement. Every indicator said that Daniel Jones was going to be better this year than he was last year. He was pretty good last year.
Yeah, but not at that money.
Well, that's what it takes to sign him, bro. That's what it takes to sign a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, well.
And you were telling him he's a franchise quarterback.
Well, I wouldn't have told him that.
And the other thing is Saquon Barkley part of that future?
No.
I think or do you say to Saquon Barkley, hey, thanks, but the only problem is they're not going to get anything for Saquon. You can't trade him.
Why not?
Because he's a free agent this year. It's either you give him another one of those 1-year deals like you did this year, you franchise tag him, and then if you trade him at the deadline or something, you're not going to get more than like a 4th-round pick for him.
I agree, but you know what? Bye-bye Saquon. Go on a team that's going to use your talents.
So
try to get to playoffs.
But that's what the Giants have to be looking for. And will they spend that much in free agency in this offseason? Probably not. Because what's the point? What's the point in signing a bunch of big money guys unless you can get to me, they need to be looking for the kind of free agent who is still relatively young, hasn't had a lot of injuries, and who they can sign to like a 4 or 5 year deal at reasonable money. Which there aren't a lot of free agents like that. Free agents want money. They want to get paid. But that's the Giants' timeline or their time frame in terms of getting all this can't be anything less than 3 years. So that's why I don't expect them to be players in the free agent market this offseason, because what's the point? You don't have a quarterback. Your running back has shown that he kind of has a propensity for getting hurt. Saquon had the high ankle sprain again this year. He had the knee. I mean, he's a big guy. He's got quads that are practically the size of my waist, but he gets hurt a lot, and a lot of running backs get hurt.
And part of it is they overwork out. That is something they don't realize.
Well, I mean, his injuries are from getting hit.
Yeah, but that's part of it is you're so big that,
Nah, part of that is natural, brother.
Yeah.
Like Earl Campbell had those massive legs. Saquon's got the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's... the Giants need to be looking future. The Giants can't be looking at 2024. They just can't, because they're not going to win. And everybody in the division is still going to be better than they are. They need to put together a plan for 25, 26, area.
I think one of the things that, that's good for the Giants is the fact that the Jets are not going to be good next year probably either, unless Aaron Rodgers does something.
Rodgers should be healthy.
Yeah, we hope.
They still need wide receiver talent. I mean, all
these
guys.
They need a front line too.
Well, they desperately need. I mean, to me, the Jets they should be drafting a couple of offensive linemen in the first round or the first 2 rounds. They need to, and they need to bring in veterans and free agents, because this team desperately needs to be able to keep Rodgers upright next year, and desperately needs guys to establish a cohesive offensive line, because their line is terrible.
It's horrible. That's one of the reasons why Zach Wilson is so bad. But then again, if Zach's supposed to be this running guy, he should be running all over the place. He should turn into Frank Hawkinson Jr.
Well,
let's talk, brother, about the Mets. We all thought they were going to sign Craig Counsell as their manager.
It was a shocker, brother.
And he was signed by the Cubs instead.
Big shocker. I'll tell you who is angry.
Well,
besides Met fans, who are always angry.
Yes.
Milwaukee Brewer fans. They wake up one day last week, and the guy who was their manager has now gone to their probably their biggest rival.
Yeah.
Besides the Cardinals, the Brewers and the Cubs, they've been going at it for the last few years.
Yeah, well, they're in the same division, so.
But to have your guy, the guy who you've been winning with, now say, oh yeah, hey, I'm going to the Cubs.
It's like when Leo DeRocha left the Dodgers to go to the Giants.
Ouch.
Yep. Anyway, but Craig was supposed to be the guy because his buddy, the general manager, was going to hire him.
David Stearns.
But
wanted to hire him.
The same thing, brother. Maybe. Craig can't handle New York City.
It's possible. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see a story because I was traveling this week, so I didn't see a story as far as why Craig Counsell made the decision he made. I was kind of blindsided by it when I heard about it, because I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Counsell was coming to the Mets. And then all of a sudden it was Cubs, and I'm like, wait, what? Where did that come from?
So now the Mets have signed Carlos Mendoza as their new manager. And he is a former Yankee guy.
Met fans got to be fuming about this. Got to be.
But the question is, do you get rid of Buck for Carlos? That's the question.
Well,
do you keep? Would it have been better to have Buck around one more year? Because this past year was horrible, but the year before was good. So, to me, I would have given Buck that one more year, but then he'd probably want an extended contract. And maybe you do that halfway through.
No manager likes to be a lame duck, brother.
Yeah, but you know what? Buck's always been a guy who's been pushed out.
Yeah, but the lame duck, it takes away your power.
Yeah.
And the managers don't have a lot of power as it is because most of the players make more money than they do.
Yeah, but
so especially the good ones. But they wanted a younger manager. I think it's a good thing for the Mets that Mendoza obviously speaks Spanish. Yeah. He can relate to the Lindors and I don't even know who else is Spanish on the Mets.
I don't know.
But he can relate to those guys, and the Mets have guys coming up through the pipeline, the Acuna, and players like that who are Spanish speaking. So, from that standpoint, it's a good thing. But he's a Yankee. Carlos Mendoza coming for the Yankees. Yankees bench coach, and I'll tell you what, I don't know a whole lot about him. He's a guy that kind of operated in shadows for the Yankees because all the attention is on Boone. You never heard Carlos Mendoza's name once.
No, not at all.
He wasn't the Don Zimmer bench coach. He was just the guy.
Yeah, maybe I would have liked if the Mets had gone for Don Mattingly as a manager.
Another Yankee, though.
Yeah, but that's different. He's been around as a manager in several places.
I don't even know if Mattingly applied for the job. I have no idea.
But they should have approached
Did it come out?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
I don't know who else the Mets. I don't even know who else the Mets interviewed besides Mendoza.
I would have said to Don Mattingly, "Hey, why don't you give it a shot?"
Because he's pretty happy in Toronto.
So what?
So what? So anyway, Mendoza was with the Yankees 15 years, brother, in multiple roles, including he managed in the low minors in 2011 and 12, and was Aaron Boone's bench coach for the last 4 years. Now, apparently, other teams had been interviewing him, so this was a guy who was on his way to getting a job.
Right.
Mendoza's only 43, young guy. He's obviously 15 years in the Yankee system. He's obviously put the work in. That's started when he was 28 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a young guy being in the system. But Mets are taking a shot. I give him credit for taking the shot and identifying a young, promising manager, because this is, like I said, this is a guy who other teams had interviewed. So obviously, a lot of different people have respect for this guy.
My problem is that Met fans don't want to wait. That's why we got Buck, because Buck is an established presence, and the first season was good, the second season was horrible. Okay, the third season is going to be good again.
Well, that's why I think Counsell was supposed to be the perfect manager for the Mets. He has experience. He had experience winning, and now I've always said this: the first year for a coach, manager, whatever. And I said the same thing about what's his name, Lane Lambert with the Islanders. The first year, it's different. When you're the guy responsible for the decisions, when you're the guy responsible for facing the media after the game changes a little bit. You have to be the guy who's responsible, and it takes guys time to learn the job.
Sure, I understand that.
It's you can't just say, well, it's baseball. He's been around baseball his whole life. He should know what he's doing. No.
Okay.
It's not how it works.
Okay. Speaking of the Islanders, they look horrible last week. They lost 3 games. They tied 1, 0-3-1. They just looked horrible. Capitals beat them up.
Ovechkin had 2 goals. Bro.
Yeah. So
now 68 short of Wayne Gretzky's record of 894.
Will he get that? I don't know.
It's going to take at least 2 seasons.
At least.
He's not scoring 68 more goals this season.
Not this season. Anyway, the Islanders just look horrible. They're now in 7th place in the Metropolitan Division with 13 points.
It's not good.
Rangers are in 1st place.
Rangers playing real well.
They are.
11-2-1.
Good for them, man.
Islanders have they're 0-3-1 in their last 4 games.
They just looked horrible last week. I was just like, this. If this continues, this could be a very long season.
Well, they're 5-5-3.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's not encouraging.
Not encouraging at all. The New York Yankees, brother. Is Giancarlo Stanton still on the team?
He is.
He is? Why?
I don't know, because he makes a lot of money.
Oh, okay. So what's going on with him? Can't they figure out? Can't they sit him down and say, "Hey, Giancarlo, come over here. You're horrible. Let's make you better."
Good pep talk, brother.
Let's make you better.
That's a Rob Leonard pep talk right there.
It is. And what you say is, "Hey, Giancarlo, you used to be really good. Remember when you were on the Marlins?" Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, people age, brother. It's the aging process.
Well,
yeah, I mean, he's there, and he's making $30 million a year. So if the Yankees want to get rid of him, they're going to have to pay at least 50% of his contract, probably more.
Yeah, well, that's why you have to sit him down and say, "Okay, start hitting again." You're going to the batting
It doesn't
cage
work
for
that way.
2 years.
It doesn't work that way, brother.
Why
You
not?
can't just tell somebody that, "Oh, hey, start hitting."
Well,
It doesn't work that way. He's old. He's muscle bound, or he's aging.
Stop lifting weights.
That's why he gets so many pulls in his legs.
Yeah,
because he's a little too muscular. I've said this for years. He should be doing Pilates or yoga or something like that.
Yeah.
and getting stretched out and looser, especially his lower half.
I agree.
Because he can't run. I mean, watching Giancarlo Stanton run last year was painful.
So, and what's going on with the Yankees? Brian Cashman's still there too, right?
Yeah, Brian Cashman's not going anywhere, brother. I mean, despite what Yankee fans say, want, scream, whatever. Brian Cashman actually had a meeting with reporters outside of the GM meetings on day one in Arizona. It was his first public comments since August when he called the Yankee season a, quote, disaster. Cashman pushed back on the notion that the Yankees are too analytically driven, and this is from ESPN that I'm getting. He's claiming the organization has, quote, the smallest analytics department in the AL East, but also, and I'm quoting again, the largest pro scouting department in all of baseball. He can say it, but, the Yankees are relying too much on analytics. He can claim they're not, but I'm sorry, he's just not telling the truth. Yep. And he was upset with reporters because, yes, they have been putting that out there that the Yankees are too driven by analytics, whatever, and they haven't done their research as far as what the teams are doing with the departments. But just because you have more analytics people, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be more driven by analytics. If you have Aaron Judge has been the one who's saying that the Yankees are probably taking too many numbers and they're not taking all of the right numbers. And if you look at some of the trades that they've made over the last couple of years, they're getting away from what was the late 90s model and getting guys with high on-base percentages. That was the Yankees' model when they were winning titles. Last year, they had two guys in the roster most nights whose on-base percentage was over 300, which is a bad on-base percentage.
Right. It's funny because Brian Cashman, because he's basically been successful, hasn't really been challenged by the New York media. I sense that might be changed.
Well, because he won.
Well, yeah.
Last year they didn't win. Last year was this past season, 2023. It was a bad season.
Right.
Yankees going 82-80. That's not a good season.
Not for
You're
them.
not making the playoffs.
Anyway, quickly, brother, Tottenham lost twice this week. What happened? Just horrible.
What a terrible week.
Terrible.
Referees screwed us against Chelsea. 2 red cards. Playing 9 against 11. What a horror show. And then Chelsea scores a couple goals in the last couple of minutes, and it turns into a 4-1 disaster.
How's that happen?
And then on Saturday, brother, I'm taking a hit for Spurs because I turned on the game at 9:15. Tottenham had a 1-0 lead. It was around the 86th minute, and as I'm watching, I'm rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, and boom, Wolves score a goal. And then a minute and a half later, boom, they score another one. So that one's on me. I'm taking a hit for that.
You have nothing to do with that.
I jinxed my own team.
Because you watched them?
Because I turned on the TV late. Next game, which they got an international break coming up this week. So in 2 weeks.
That's not true, brother. A couple of weeks ago, we went to that bar down the road from us here.
We were there early.
No, we arrived late.
No.
Yes.
Remember they turned on the game late.
Well, yeah.
We got there on time.
We didn't get there on time. Anyway,
I'm taking a hit for this one.
Anyway, that's about it.
My fault.
You're listening to 90.3 WHPC. Your WHPC weather forecast, powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. This afternoon, sunny. except after 4 o'clock where it gets mostly cloudy. Tonight will be clear, but it will go down to 39 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, high about 50. Currently, the temperature outside the studios at Nassau Community College, it is 43 degrees. Coming up next, they call him Big Ed for a reason, and you will find out why. Big Ed with Good Gold's coming up next. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. Thank you for listening. This show becomes a podcast later on. See you next time, and bye-bye.